Hello and happy Friday. It's TGIF Live. I'm sorry, it's kind of dark in here. I should probably like flip on a light or something. Unfortunately, it's really icky weather out right now. So, you can still see me, right? It's just a little dark. So, happy Friday, TGIF. I am Nancy from Nancy's Health and Wellness and Mindset Life Coaching. How is everybody doing today? I hope everyone's doing wonderful and you're ready for the weekend, which is, by the way, Mother's Day weekend. Oh my goodness. How does that just creep up on us? So, typically, I spend it with my one and only son, but he is out of town and he did not realize that it was Mother's Day weekend when he booked his flight and made his plans. So, of course, I'm going to say, I'll just see you when you come back. And it'll be that much, kind of more looking forward to it anyway. Um, so today I want to celebrate early Mother's Day for all the mothers out there, for the fur baby mothers out there. You are a mother too. You're doing a very important service by taking care of an animal. And, they take care of us too, don't they? So I have one dog. Most of you have seen him. His name is Benji. He is a rescue dog. He's a Pommerschnauz. Isn't that a weird combination? I always think, who was thinking of that idea when they made that breed? Pommerschnauz, Pomeranian and Schnauzer. He's super smart. Um, he's a lot of he's a lot of mischief. He's a lot of mischief if you don't watch him, but he adores me and he adores my husband. So we kind of lucked out as far as the pets go, or he's our only pet. So, with that, happy early Mother's Day to all the mothers out there and fur baby moms. And I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. And let's get into today's topic. And what I wanted to talk about today was Maze Challenge, which I just posted it today. So if you haven't had a chance to take a look at it, please do take a look at it. And it's kind of just a fun thing to do to make a challenge for you guys and see if you just, it's not something that I'm going to check up on you and see if you're doing it. I will make reminders of it, but it's just something personal for you to do. Maybe something that you hadn't have, kind of thought of before. And so with that, I'm going to go right through some of the things listed for the month of May and the challenge. And I know that you guys can do it. I know it. I think most people are doing a lot of this already. So this is just a little more kind of a push forward for you. So let's start off with practice gratitude daily, number one. So practicing gratitude is a daily practice, obviously. Um, and I know that when times are hard and we're having a bad day and things just aren't going our way, I realize that it's even harder to practice gratitude. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. The immense like benefits that you get from practicing gratitude are immeasurable. So, what I like to do is I like to think of three things every day that I'm thankful for. And just, it could be anything. And I've talked about this before. It could be anything. It could be you're thankful you have a full tank of gas. And hey, let's be real, with the price of, gas right now, it's kind of like you feel you're wealthy because you have a full tank of gas. So, it can be anything. Three things that you're grateful for, and then reflect on each one of them. And it's going to be something different. It should be something different every day. And it shouldn't be hard to think of three things. Three things, that's pretty, to me, that's pretty easy to do. And especially since it's not like measured, you can, like I said, if it's a full tank of gas, you're grateful for that. If it's, you have food in your cupboards and hey, your bills are paid this month, these are some things that are absolutely legit. So, you know, whatever you can think of. So that's number one. Number two is positive self talk. So, we talk to ourselves in our minds all day long. Our thoughts come in, whatever circumstances are happening in our day. It brings a certain narrative to us, and it can get pretty ugly sometimes. And it's hard to get out of it, but it's something that you train your mind like an athlete trains its body. you know your mind is a muscle, and you have to constantly keep on and keep on and keep on. So that's number 2, positive self-talk. And what's an example of positive self-talk? Well, let's say I'm having a really bad day, and maybe just things are just not going well for me, and the whole day is just going downhill pretty fast. I'm going to go ahead and sort of self-soothe myself. And another term is self-parenting, where you kind of just soothe yourself. You talk yourself out of it. Like, yes, this is a rough day, but you know what? Tomorrow's going to be better. Um, and you're going to make it better. And your day is what you make of it anyway. Not the circumstances around you. When you start controlling your own thoughts and your own self talk, your days become so much brighter, so much brighter. And it's not about being positive all the time, because, realistically, none of us are positive all the time. That's just not realistic. But what we can do is we can work on ourselves when we start getting into a negative spin, and we start maybe doubting our abilities or doubting ourselves, or maybe we had a certain task we were doing today and it just didn't work out. And instead of beating yourself up over it, look at it for what it is, take it head on tomorrow, sleep on it. So that would be number 2, positive self talk. Number 3, being kind to others. Now, this is a tall order sometimes, isn't it? It's difficult. It's difficult sometimes to be kind to other people. Um, and I mean, I think it's difficult because most people are just so wrapped up in what's going on with them, and they don't really care, to ask you how you're doing. Or, maybe you're in has this ever happened to you? You're in the store and you have like 2 items and all the self checks are closed or something of that nature, and the person in front of you has like a huge cart, and you're going to be there for a long time. I've literally turned around and said, "Is that all you have? Go ahead and go in front of me. I'm not in a hurry." And the look on the person's face, it was like you handed them the winning lotto ticket. It was just like sheer, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much." Like just surprise and shock. And I thought, isn't that terrible that it's surprising and shocking when somebody is kind to you or thinks of you before them or anything of that nature. So, you know, oftentimes when people are behaving a certain way towards us, or it really has nothing to do with you. Rude people, rude drivers, that's all on them. That's all on them. And unfortunately, a lot of people are struggling right now. A lot of people are stressed out, a lot of anxiety, a lot of poor behavior everywhere I go. I'm an observer, so I see it. I see it a lot. And it's unfortunate, but it's on them and it's not my problem. That's how I kind of navigate through those things. So being kind to others. Number 4, cutting out sugar and processed foods. Now, what do I mean by processed foods? I mean, like, junk food in particular, anything with MSG in it, high fructose corn syrup, maltodextrin. These are very bad. Omega 6s, seed oils, very bad. Soy isolates, very bad. Whey protein, very bad. Um, this is what the healthy packaging will want people to do. Like, for instance, I'll use myself as an example. I was, really big on the Atkins shakes, and really didn't pay attention to a lot of the ingredients. And I did look at the ingredients, and now I don't buy them. So, without saying too much about that, um, that was just not good for me. So, done with that, and I went to plant-based protein powder, and I just put it in my smoothie. Which right here, here's one of my smoothies. I think it's almost, yeah, it's almost gone. This smoothie is and I know you probably, a lot of people turn their head just yuck. I don't want to eat. No, Nancy, I'm not going to drink that. I'm not going to eat it. Um, it is blueberries, kale, kefir, and water with some plant-based protein powder, and it turns out looking a little bit like this, if you can see that. So, a lot of people would be like, yuck. It actually has a pleasant taste, and I put a little bit of stevia in it as well so that it's a little sweeter. The kefir is a little bit tough to take. Um, just by itself. So it's very good for your liver, and it's a good detox, I feel. And I got the recipe from Dr. Berg, who I've put on this on my wellness site before. He is amazing. I love Dr. Berg, Dr. Eric Berg. And so that's that. Basically, common sense. I mean, processed food versus whole food versus, eating plant type foods. A plant based, diet is, I feel, the best. You know, watching your protein intake, because that can spike your blood sugar as well. For those of you who are worried about pre-diabetes or diabetes type 2, too much protein can jack that blood glucose right up. So you got to watch out for that. So in number 5, hydration. So here we go with the exhibit number 2, my big huge Yeti body, my big Yeti body. I'm a Yeti. No, the Yeti. I love the Yeti brands. And the water bottle is, you know, stays cold like for 2 days in a row if you want it to. Um, so there's also a lot of controversy on water and how much we should drink. So I drink about a gallon a day throughout the day. I start my morning with water. I sip it throughout the day. Um, and I'm used to that. Now, if you're not used to that and you can only do, maybe 32 ounces and maybe later in the day another 16, work up to it. See what feels good for you. Um, there's something called water intoxication. There's more of a scientific term for it, but I'm not going to belt that out. And I'm not worried about water intoxication. I've been drinking about a gallon of water for, 15 years. So it really hasn't been detrimental to me. We're all different, obviously. But the main thing is that you need to stay hydrated and keep your body. It's just like a car. You've got to keep it lubricated. You've got to keep it going for it to run in optimal, condition, same as your body. So I often think of my body as like a car and how you have to, take care of it in a similar way for it to run efficiently. So then that also leads me to the next one, which is get at least 7.5 hours. This is number 6. 7.5 hours minimum at least per night. Now, this is difficult. A lot of people have sleep issues. What I do is I make myself go to sleep. And I mean, I'd like to stay up late. Last night I stayed up later than I normally do. But I do generally try to make myself go to bed and have a bedtime and get at least 8 to 9 hours of sleep. I've always required a lot of sleep. I'm not one of those people that functions well on, little to no sleep. That's not me at all. I'll never be that way. But one sort of side note with the sleep is that one, people are having issues sleeping. Okay. Two, the other thing is for ladies over 40 or ladies who are in perimenopause, um, perimenopause really wreaks havoc on your entire body. It throws your entire system off, and your sleep goes right with that. It goes right out the door. You could be sleeping sound, And all of a sudden, one night you're just, that's the end of it. You're up at 1 o'clock, you're up till 3, then you go back to bed, and then, it's just a vicious cycle. I actually talked to my doctor about that because I was very concerned because I am very protective of my sleep. And she mentioned to me that that's just par for the course. And, there are sleep aids out there, but there's a ton of side effects. So, um, I find it best not to rely on a sleep aid, um, because I just don't think it's healthy for your body. I think that you should, just try whatever natural remedy you can try. Melatonin, I don't really like. I don't think that it works. I think that the amount that you lose, naturally as you're aging versus the melatonin that if you don't have blue light glasses, and you're plugged in almost till bedtime with your computer or any other electronic gadget, um, you know you're going to have compromised sleep with that as well. Also, like how long has it been since you've had caffeine, if you're sensitive to caffeine, things of that nature. There's a lot of elements that go with the sleep, but it's imperative for your overall health to and to function correctly, to get a good night's sleep. So it's very important to sort of make a bedtime routine for yourself. um, so sleep, and I've talked about this in other videos, and I talked about this a couple weeks ago, and specifically just on sleep. So it is extremely imperative. Number 7 is time outdoors. Now, I live in the Pacific Northwest, and it rains constantly, except for, summer. Generally, May is a little bit drier, but we're having a little bit more precipitation. But I still got out today, took my dog for a walk, did some meditation, did some yoga, and just got outside. Those of you that have seen some other videos of mine know that I live in the middle of the woods, basically, and I have a creek going through my property. So I'm very blessed to have a beautiful wildlife habitat kind of place to live. So I'm out in nature every day, and really, extremely therapeutic to just go outside for a walk, even if you don't have, you know, a beautiful setting that you live in, or just to get outside, just to get some fresh air, just to disconnect from your telephone. Do me a favor, if you're outside, be done with the phone, don't be answering calls. Um, Step away from your computer. I always thought that a lunch break was a great time to get outside and go for a walk, and then, maybe have a bit of a snack before you dive back into work. I think people are more refreshed when they come back from lunch, and I think that it does them good. That's why we have lunch breaks. Now, I've worked places where um, lunch breaks were just kind of like not the thing. Most people would just sit at their desk and eat. I didn't. I would go take my break because I needed it. Um, and I felt so much better after I had lunch. And even if I didn't eat much, just to rest and get away from work and just kind of decompress a bit. And so that's number 7, time outdoors. And then number 8 goes along with and I'm talking about May's challenge. And these are things that you can just kind of hand pick. If you want to do them, great. If you don't want to do them, that's fine too. Um, but number 8 is 20 to 30 minutes a day, um, outside, or, if you belong to a gym or something of that nature, to get some exercise, to actually get out and get some exercise. Now, 20 or 30 minutes, a lot of people, oh, I can't, I can't do that. I'm too busy. I'm too busy. Okay. So here's the deal. You can take 10 minutes and go for a walk. You can take another 10 minutes. And if you add up those 10 minutes here and there during the day, you're going to come up with 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes that you've been doing some type of exercise. I totally am an advocate for housework as being a workout because it is. If you're on your hands and knees and you're scrubbing your kitchen floor or you're cleaning your bathtub and you're scrubbing the bathtub, those movements are absolutely physical. You're working, vacuuming. They've actually done studies on this before, and funny enough, with housekeepers and ask them personally, how much exercise do you get a day? And the housekeeper, oh, I don't get any exercise. I don't have time. I don't have time to go do that. And then they added up like what they actually did in their housekeeping and how many calories it burned, et cetera, and what kind of category it was in, like cardiovascular. I mean, it was a really cool study. And they kind of like broke it to them like, hey, you guys actually are exercising every day. And and they just didn't realize that they just counted it as work. But housework is definitely physical exercise. So, and then you get a clean house too. Win-win for everybody, right? Okay. So, those are the things for May's challenge. And if you haven't seen them, I posted it this morning so you can take a look. And these are things that all of us can strive to do. If you wanted to add your own May challenge for yourself, do that. Do that. You don't have to follow what I'm putting down. You can absolutely do, whatever it is that may want to do for yourself. So, these are the things that I'm implementing for this month. And then I'm going to have a challenge every month. It's going to be similar, but, just to keep us on track. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I did a video earlier this week, I believe on Tuesday, about that. And want to encourage each and every one of you that, um, if you're having a lot of stress or you're having a lot of anxiety, to reach out and, if you feel like you need some counseling or something of that nature. I really want to get the stigma that's attached to mental health issues and mental illness. I really want to get those squashed. And I'm sure that, by myself, I'm not going to do that. But if I can reach whoever is watching this or whoever's interested, and encourage you to do the same, that, I think it's little movements that make a big impact, is how I feel. And having people in my family who've had, struggle with mental illness. Me myself, after I had my son, I have postpartum depression. I talked about that on Tuesday. I've mentioned it other times, because I actually did feel like I was alone in that. I didn't realize that other women had that. I had heard of the baby blues, and I felt mine wasn't really like that. But it wasn't until I talked to one of my aunts who, which was years later, who let me know that, she suffered from it as well, postpartum depression. And she told me about her, kind of what happened with her. And the more that we talk about things and the more that we connect with each other on topics like that or anything that resonates with you, the more that we can help other people, and remove this stigma of, um, negative stigma that's attached to mental illness. Um, so, like I always say, your physical and your mental go hand in hand. And when one is lacking, so is the other, or vice versa. If one's just kind of not doing well, the other one isn't either. We leave ourselves susceptible to getting sick. Um, I had not been sick for a very long time, and my immunity just kind of got beat down, probably over the last couple months. Even when I was in Maui, I wasn't feeling 100%, and that was in February. And it was a great time to go, looking back, because I actually had a lot of time to relax and a lot of time to just kind of focus on nothing and just take in all the sights. And, I got to see a friend of mine that lives there. Um, and it was a really good time to go. I wish that I had felt better. But I'm just thankful that I got to go. That was a trip that my son and I had booked in 2020, and then COVID happened, and then job losses happened, and then this, and then that, and we finally got to go. And we had a couple hiccups along the way here and there while we were there, but overall it was a wonderful time. We enjoyed our time there, and hopefully the next time I return, I will be taking my husband with me because he's never been. And I'm absolutely in love with Maui. I've been there before. And as far as Hawaii, I think that was my fifth trip. My grandma Mavis ruined me. I was 7 and she took me to Honolulu and absolutely ruined me for life because I never wanted to go home. I mean, even at like the age of 7, I was like, please, grandma, can we just stay here? Do we really have to go back? Oh, and it was just, it was just, it was something. For those of you who have been to Hawaii, obviously that it is paradise and it has kind of a certain magic to it as well. So that's all I have for you guys today. I thank you for listening to this video. I thank you for being a part of this wellness community. We are building a larger community all the time here. I am so proud of the interaction. I don't get a lot of likes or things of that nature on videos, but I see the traffic and I see how many people are actually viewing. So I know people are seeing things. They're just not maybe not commenting. Some people do comment, but and that's okay. I'm just happy with as many viewers as I'm able to reach, because then when you hear something positive, you'll repeat it to somebody, and we just start a really good chain of events for that, and it's positive. So I thank you. I want you to have a wonderful Mother's Day weekend. And yes, fur baby moms are just as important as all the other moms out there. And I think it's a wonderful thing to care for a pet and love them like your own family, or maybe even better than your own family. For those of you who have some kind of stinkers in your family, um, it's a great thing. So I wish you a wonderful day, you guys. I will see you next time, next week, and I will, come up with some really good things to talk about next week. But I hope that you see the challenge and that you challenge yourself to, knock these out. It's going to make a difference, especially the gratitude. The gratitude one is, that one is the best, I feel. So take care and thanks again and have a great weekend.